All right, chapter 17, choices of the heart.
Second paragraph, starting with directly. Hold on one second.
Directly before them stood his work, a masterpiece of art in which to lay the remains of Missy. As Mac walked around the box, he immediately recognized the extensions in the wood. On closer examination, he discovered the details of Missy's life were carved into the wood. He found an engraving of Missy with her cat Judith. There was another Mac sitting in a chair reading Dr. Seuss to her. All the family was visible in scenes worked into the sides and top. Nan and Missy making cookies. The trip to Walla Lake with the tram ascending the mountain, and even Missy coloring at the camp table with an accurate representation of the ladybug pin the killer had left behind. There was even a rendering of Missy standing and smiling as she looked into the waterfall, knowing her daddy was on the other side. Interspersed throughout were flowers and animals that were Missy's favorites. Mac turned and hugged Jesus, and as they embraced, Jesus whispered into his ear. Missy helped. She picked out what she wanted on it. Mac's grip tightened. He couldn't let go for a long while. We have the perfect place prepared for her body, Sarah, you said, sweeping past. Mackenzie, it is in our garden. With great care, they gently placed the remains of Missy into the box, laying her on a bed of soft grasses and moss, and they filled it full with the flowers and spices from Sarah Yu's pack. Closing the lid, Jesus and Mac each easily picked up an end and carried it out, following Sarah Yu into the garden to the place in the orchard that Mac had helped clear. There, between cherry and peach trees, surrounded by orchards and daylilies, a hole had been dug right into where Mac uprooted the flowering shrub the day before. Papa was waiting for them. Once they crafted the box, was gently placed into the ground. Papa gave Mac a huge hug, which he returned in kind.
Can I say something that's a thought to my mind as she's reading that? And that's, Papa never forces us. He never ever takes that lead. He's always just right there beside us, and it's always gentleness. Throughout this whole book, he never was angry or forceful or ahead of us in any way. He's always just right there with us.
Constantly walking in love.
That's right. Constantly walking in love.
Well,
Nothing more, nothing less.
And what Aisha just read in the garden, the garden represented Max's soul, and he was burying his daughter in his soul. So he was never going to be able to forget her, and he was going to still love her and stuff, but she was going to be buried in his soul.
That was good insight. Anyone else?
Yeah, it was very good insight.
Yes.
This was definitely a hard time for Mac, and God knew that. So that's why, leading up to this chapter, we can tell how, just by once again showing that love, that patience, long suffering for this day, that he knew he had to go through. So it's just amazing to me, just once again to see God's love through this process of him burying his precious daughter.
Yeah, because he went to retrieve her body from the woods and, dirt and everything, and retrieved his daughter's body from the dirt, and then brought her back to his soul and buried her back into the dirt where his soul was. So.
Wow. And it says it from ashes, from dirt you came, from dirt you return. And, I have a question. Is love so hard? I know that
love is hard to learn to do. It doesn't come naturally because it's a sin that's involved, that we're involved in.
Yes.
So love
but you
doesn't
do
come
agree, and I understand, and I wasn't saying it as though all I do is love, because I remember times that I've gotten angry. I remember times when I've been frustrated, with myself, with my fellow man. But what I'm saying is,
a lot of people are thinking.
the way that God shows it in this book, it seems so easy. You know what I'm saying?
That is a hard thing to do, to love someone. it's easy to love your family and your friends, you know, that you've been around, but it's hard to love other people that you don't know, people that have done things to you, you know, God who you haven't seen.
Yeah,
You know,
but that's my question though. Then we say we love God whom we've not seen.
Yeah.
How does that all play out?
Throughout
from my own
our faith, through our faith in God. We learn to love God through all our faith. I mean, you have to have faith to do anything. You know, to trust, to love. You have to have faith to do anything. So it's out of our faith, I believe.
And that was a step of faith for Matt through this whole process to trust who he believes to be God, this woman, then a man, because they showed him love through their action. So now he's come to know love through them. Whereas my own example is someone showing me love. I think we talked about this earlier.
Oh, yes, we did.
Whereas because it was shown to me, I'm able to show it to others.
That's right.
And really, that's what it took for me. Because I didn't learn that really growing up.
And that was the point that I was getting to, because I understand all the valid points of, you know, we love God through faith, but he says, how can you love me whom you've never seen but hate your fellow man? So is it a thing of we need to start retraining our mind, because this thing of love that we separate, I love God, but I have a hard time loving my brother, I have a hard time loving my sister, is the very thing that may keep us from hearing, well done, thy good and faithful servant. So is it, let's retrain our mind. I see you every day, why can't I not walk in love with you? Because I'm telling you, that's what me and my sister talked earlier, and it's a good feeling. I mean, the love that you know, since I've been here, you know, and spent time and things like that, it's different.
To have love for other people.
So it makes me reflect. You can long suffer with me. You can love me in spite of. So let me long suffer with Sally Mae or Joe. You know.
Have the same patience with them.
Absolutely.
Same patience with people that you don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then that brings me back to my question: is it that hard? Because if I understand the scriptures correctly, if you miss that link of love with your fellow man, then you missed it all.
Yeah. You're not going anywhere. You're not going to heaven.
That's right.
You're going somewhere, but you're not going to heaven.
Exactly.
But also, what you just said in so many words, it's a choice too.
Exactly.
It's a choice. Yes.
Absolutely.
You choose because you don't have to. Just because I show you love, you don't have to in turn show others love. But it is a choice.
Yes.
I was just going to say that when you trust, that love can flow a little more easily. When you're not trusting, you pull back, you draw a wall, you bring walls up. But when you trust, like Matt, he began to trust God, then he was able to let that love flow.
Yeah.
And that was only because of the relationship that he was having with God.
That's right.
That's it.
Can I interject also that, you know, what I've learned from my own experiences, and I guess that's everyone's focal point, is love is really easier, because since I let a lot of things go through love versus I want to be upset with you, I want to show you resentment and be content towards you, those things take a lot of energy out of you. You know what I'm saying? I can sleep better at night. I can sleep for longer periods of time. I can, you know, I'm at peace within myself, knowing, and I'm not, every day is not perfect, but at the close of the day, you know, I don't have to sit there and harbor all those negative feelings and things like that. So, you know, I can see I would rather work towards love than towards that I got to keep something going. You know, I got to keep this mess going in my church. I got to keep this going in my household. You know.
You can't love until you trust, but you can't trust until you relinquish control, because trusting God requires you to relinquish control. And even in our personal relationships with our family and our friends, the reason why it's hard for us to love them is because we haven't relinquished control of wanting to control them and love them and accept them for who they are, you know, as they are. We don't have the unconditional love. We're still trying to make them fit into the mold of what we want to be. And so as long as they're fitting into that mold of what we want them to be, we love them. But the minute that they're not